Gracie Abrams just announced that her third studio album will be called Daughter from Hell, and she dropped this album cover. My first reaction was, I'm intrigued, I love the title. What in the world is this cover? Because this cover is just so bad. Not to say that her previous album covers were any good, but this is just not giving anything at all. She has such a good title and concept to potentially work with and play around with on the cover, but there's literally nothing to take away from this album cover. And every pop girl has at least one instantly classic album cover. And Gracie Abrams right now, she is 0 for 3. So that got me thinking, what makes a great album cover? Because there is a difference between a regular album cover and an iconic album cover. For me, it comes down to three things. This is the art of the album cover. The first thing a great album cover should do is visually represent the theme of an album. Before you hear a single note, before you even read a single lyric, the image itself should help carry that thematic message. Taylor Swift has many great album covers, but one that achieves this goal best is Folklore. Coming from the pop star who just released Lover, full of pop songs, glitter, and bright colors, this hazy image seemed like an out-of-character departure. It's black and white, soft focus, Taylor is standing far away, alone in the woods, isolated, blending in with the forest trees. That image is already telling you the world you're being invited into. This is an album about solitude, about introspection, about stories that aren't yours, secrets you were too afraid to tell, and truths that you finally felt safe to say out loud. The cover isn't just aesthetic, it's a thesis statement. It's a time capsule of the moment we were in. It's about stories passed down like folk songs. And this cover earns every single note that follows it. Lady Gaga's art pop achieves the same effect, but is channeling a completely different chaotic energy. This cover is about that collision of art and commercial pop. The background has this chaotic blend of the modern and this classic painting of the birth of Venus. She's naked on the cover, there's this sculpture, the art pop ball is at the center. It's ambitious, it's loud, it's eccentric, just like the album you're about to hear. SZA's SOS shows her sitting on the edge of a diving board above the ocean, a deliberate homage to the famous Princess Diana photo. The title SOS is a distress signal, and the solitary image together evoke deep isolation and private reflection. This raw moment where it's just her and the ocean, sitting on the edge, weighing her options whether to jump or not. The cover captures that tense pause before a decision. She's exposed, alone, and vulnerable, yet full of control. The best album covers in this category make you feel like the image and the music were created at the same time, like they couldn't have existed independently of each other. They're not just images. The album cover is an invitation into the world of the album, and the songs, they fully transport you there with every note and lyric. A good album cover should also give you a glimpse into the sound of the album. Album covers usually differ from genre to genre. There are distinct styles between, let's say, a Kendrick Lamar album and a Leve album. A cover should be able to portray that sonic landscape that it's inviting you into. The textures and the temperature, the mood and mise-en-scène. Does the cover capture what it feels like to listen to the album? Lord's melodrama unfolds like one endless house party. And not a wild rager, but the kind where heartbreak amplifies your isolation amidst a crowd of people. It's dark and moody, some would say claustrophobic. That sound of overwhelming emotions and intimacy is shared throughout the album. The cover is this tight crop, and We feel that suffocating closeness. There's saturated colors and bright moments of release, and it pulls you right into the exact feelings of each song.
Billy.
Billie Eilish's debut album, When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go, is another cover that invites us into this sinister world where there's dark and strange instrumentation, and it sounds like a nightmare. The image is scary, and songs on here also sound scary and are anxiety inducing. It feels like we are invited into the dark corners of Billie's mind. It's weird, it's dark, it's unsettling, just like all the songs on this album. But not every good cover has to be dark and ominous. Katy Perry's Teenage Dream is full of cotton candy clouds that exemplify the carefree and fun sound of your youth. It's dreamlike, it's imaginative, it's tongue in cheek, it's funny. There's pink and blue pastels that welcome you into this dreamy haze of feel good music. Every song on this album has this same euphoric feeling. It's unreal. It feels like growing up and living the best life. This is the soundtrack of that feeling. The test I like to apply here for this category is simple. If I'm listening to the song and I look at my phone and see the cover, does the cover look like how the song sounds? If I'm listening to Fireworks, I should not be seeing this scary image of Billie Eilish. And if I'm listening to Bury a Friend, I should not be seeing cotton candy clouds.
Do you want from me? Why don't you run from me? What are you wondering? What do you know?
Lastly, an album cover needs to be dynamic. It has to be striking and memorable. It has to capture someone's attention while they're scrolling past it on their phone. And there's nothing more striking than the neon green cover with the words Brat. This cover not only perfectly represents the album, but also became a cultural movement with Brat Summer. It was widely recreated, and Charlie XCX became synonymous with not just a word, but with a color. And then there's Beyonce. The greatest performer of our generation. Her name alone holds so much emotional weight and cultural power. Her legacy is within these 7 letters, and we know by looking at this black album cover with her name in pink exactly what we're going to expect without even seeing a single image. Most recently, the Renaissance and Cowboy Carter covers feature this dynamic image of a horse, part of her 3-act project of reclaiming ownership and celebrating Black musical origins. The Renaissance cover features this chromatic, futuristic horse, while the Cowboy Carter cover features Western iconography and the American flag reimagined. Both covers are instantly recognizable, yet completely unreplicable. Nobody else other than Beyonce could have made these covers, and that's the point. All the covers in this category have that same bold ambition and total commitment. These artists took one bold swing, whether that's with one color, one word, or one idea. They let it define this era, and it was inseparable from the music. A good cover needs to have a clear concept. Covers that fail this test are the ones that try to do too many things all at once or don't do anything at all. The cover not only needs to make a visual impact, but have that emotional resonance to the album. The most memorable album covers leave you with lingering questions and thoughts. They want you to explore these ideas as you're going through the music and listening to the songs. For every great album cover an artist makes, there are covers that don't quite land. One example of this is Olivia Rodrigo's Sour and Guts album covers. I thought the Sour cover was great and it perfectly represented her age at 17. But Guts was a completely different sound that was more punk rock and angrier, and I don't think the cover matched that sound. Lady Gaga also has a very good visual body of work for her album covers, but when she announced the cover for Mayhem, I thought it was surprisingly bland for an artist whose entire identity was built on visual maximalism. And it's not only about the color, it's the lack of something. For both the Mayhem and the Guts cover, it felt like there's empty space. It felt like something was missing in these images. Restrained can work, but there's a difference between restrained and emptiness. Dua Lipa gave us one of the best album covers of the past decade with Future Nostalgia, and it does all three things I listed above perfectly. It matches the theme of this retro futurism vibe. You can hear the sounds of this disco revival in a modern sound, and it's stunning. It's striking to look at, it's thematic, it's everything. And then came Radical Optimism, and she gave us a shark. Dua Lipa had a whole red visual language going, this Tame Impala influenced psychedelic sound, and we get this cover at a beach, underwater, with a shark. None of this is giving Houdini or Illusion. None of this is giving anything from that album. It's a complete 180 from an artist who clearly knows better. You have Katy Perry, who gave us the sweet confection and this cotton candy escapism on Teenage Dream. And then there's Prism, which isn't a bad cover, but it's giving Pixar. It's giving Canva. It's not really giving anything. And it's kind of disappointing coming from Teenage Dream and coming to a record with such good dynamic songs such as Dark Horse, International Smile, Legendary Lovers, Walking on Air. This cover doesn't really do this album justice. Gracie Abrams is the reason I'm making this video. Not because she always had bad covers, but because she actually started out pretty well with her first few projects. Good Riddance and This Is What It Feels Like have covers that feel like there's intention, that there was something she was trying to communicate visually. I can feel some emotion here and take away something from these images. And then came The Secret of Us. This was her big breakthrough album. She had a huge hit off this record and even a Taylor Swift collab. But we get this headshot to go along with it. This headshot is emotionless. There's no expression that is captured on here that matches the album at all. Let's look at Adele, who has mastered the headshot album cover.
Hello, it's me.
Every Adele cover features her face, but it also telegraphs her exact emotional state at that age, starting from 19. You feel the raw heartbreak on 21, the lingering ache and acceptance on 25, the resolve from a divorce at 30. There's no ambiguity because you can see it on the face. The placement of her hand, the position of her face, the direction of her stare, the shading and color of the background. All of these add to the emotional intensity of the album, none of which is present on either The Secret of Us or Daughter from Hell. And then there's the font. The typography on a cover should not fight with the image. It should only ever enhance it. Our relationship with text on a cover has been shifting these past few years. We've been moving away from adding the album title and the artist's name on the album cover. And we have seen more creative execution of adding these titles as hidden details. Olivia Rodrigo has done this twice with Sour and Guts. On the Reputation album, Taylor Swift uses her name and the title of the album and uses that as text on the cover to make it look like a newspaper headline. For Gracie Abrams' The Secret of Us, the title is smack dab in the middle, with a font that does not match the image or the sound of the album. For Daughter from Hell, she has it smack dab in the middle in tiny font, which makes it look like an editing error. If we go back to her EP, This Is What It Feels Like, this was such a creative way to implement the title in the cover. So she has done it before, but she chooses not to anymore. The most frustrating part about this is that there was a better image released that should have been the album cover. When she announced her new song Hit the Wall, She had a single cover where she was standing in front of an open fire. This fire image matches Daughter from Hell as the title so much better. And yeah, it does look like it could be a J. Cole album cover, but it has more visual personality than the cover we actually got. An album cover is the first thing you see. In a world where music is consumed almost entirely through screens, it's inviting you into the world before even the first note plays. And when it works like magic. You feel the music when you see the image. You're transported into the world when you hear the first notes play. It becomes inseparable from the listening experience. And that's how it's supposed to be. If you made it this far, please give this video a like and comment down below what are your favorite album covers. Also, please make sure to subscribe if you want more pop culture analysis and deep dives. But until next time, I will see you online.